It's all heating up in the transfer window as Lucas Paqueta could be departing West Ham United in the next 48 hours as Aston Villa are sniffing after him. We know they haven't got much money and they're after a loan deal. Probably our best midfielder, which is alarming at best, and there's been of course reports that Paqueta has refused to travel to Nottingham Forest. We believe that is wide of the mark and that is incorrect, and in fact Paqueta is with the squad currently and has travelled to our game away at the City ground, so that's something. But I mean, we saw reports last night of a £47 million deal with an obligation to buy. It's a little bit dubious how much money we'll be getting right here, right now, as it seems to be a loan deal, which is not doing us any favours whatsoever. Unless it's a ridiculous, unacceptable amount of money, then this should be just ignored. And you know, it's a little bit concerning the whole sort of line that Paqueta's keen on the move, and that doesn't surprise me. European football, probably better football. You can't really blame him, to be totally honest, can you? With the way we're going, but. Listen, at the end of the day, we've got to be wise about this, and Sullivan's got to stand firm because we can't sell him, or even, I mean, we cannot loan him out now with less than 2 days left of the transfer window and expect to get a replacement in, because then Fernandes becomes his replacement, which means we've then lost a midfielder, and we don't know who's, you know, whether anyone else is coming in or who's going, to that matter. You know, Rodriguez still might leave. Irving is on his way out, we presume. So look, it's a perilous situation which has got to be handled. It's got to be handled, and if we're not careful, then we could end up with less midfielders and you know, quite bare in that area. So we have to keep hold of him, in my opinion, unless they come in with 60-70 million pounds smack on the table, which gives us money to go and get somebody before the deadline. Then we've just got to say no, unless it's a ridiculous amount of money they put forward. A loan deal with an obligation to buy for 40 million quid next summer. Don't be silly. Do not be silly. We cannot be accepting that, and I just hope Sullivan doesn't falter under the pressure. And you know, I'd be quite upset if he left, actually, because you know, he's been pretty poor over the last 18 months. We cannot deny that, and of course he's had the betting allegations that have lingered over him for some time, and you know, we can't even explain the impact that's probably had on him, you know, mentally. But we've now got a midfield, and you know, people say he's been awful at the start of this season as well, granted, but so has everybody else in that midfield. You know, Paqueta has skill and quality, we know that, but he's been put with Rodriguez and Ward-Prowse, and what can you do with that? Not a lot, to be totally honest. So all of a sudden, if we keep him, and today we could have a midfield duo of, you know, Fernandes, Mateus Fernandes, really good player, skillful, young, energetic player, alongside Paqueta, and then he could get the best out of Paqueta. And then the other guy we've signed, Magassa, put him in there, a bit of pace, and then you've got a midfield trio that looks miles, worlds better than you know, than what we've got now. And I just feel we can get the best out of Paqueta this season. We just need to keep hold of him, and hopefully we can convince him to stay, and there's not going to be any messiness in terms of transfer requests and wanting to leave and all the rest of it. But it's all a bit up in the air at the moment. There's so many sources saying so many different things, and it's just time will tell. And the biggest indication I think we're going to get today is at 1:45, when we receive that team lineup, is Paqueta starting for West Ham today. That's going to be the biggest and most decisive indication of whether Lucas Paqueta will stay a West Ham player past 7 o'clock tomorrow night. So we don't know a great deal about how this is going to end at the moment. It could go either way, but it's one to keep an eye on, and I'm sure we will get updates on that. And that sun is very bright. We'll see you soon. Thank you very much, and goodbye.